Let us continue our discussion on progress. Whether there is any progress or adequate progress, questions like that. But in analyzing the aspect of progress, I think let us take a bigger picture of the entire species, sapiens. Let us compare sapiens versus other animals. We are using the word other animals because we also are animals. So let us look at how sapiens fared vis-a-vis other animals. That way we will get much bigger picture, and we may also be in a better position to understand if we succeeded, why we succeeded, and if we are failing, why we are failing. So now let us look at the story of sapiens. This story is very well brought out in this book written by Yuval Noah Harari in the book Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. This looks at sapiens versus other species, and he identifies certain processes which are actually obvious, but nevertheless it makes us think about a bigger picture. What does Harari have to say on evolution of sapiens, or how sapiens mastered the world? Let us look at his main points. His main point is, take one man versus any animal, any important animal, be it tiger or a lion or elephant or even a bear, many animals. One man versus one animal, he says, animal will win. One man versus one animal. Maybe two men versus two animals. Or animals will win. But then the difference between man and animals comes when it comes to groups. A group of lions don't create any community, they don't have any power. A group has there is no collective action from a group of lions, whereas a group of men, he is much more capable. So the difference between animals and humans is that humans could group, were capable of collective action. Why collective action? They are capable of organizing. Why they could organize? Because their brain, superior brain. So because of their superior brain of planning, remembering, humans, or hundreds of humans, or thousands of humans could make into villages, states, and now even nations. So like this. So humans were grouping, and then this grouping, and given the brain and its capacity to learn and literacy, humans could link the past experience with the present and project into future. It means human progress is accumulative. Okay, somebody develops a script and then it is used and books are written. So essentially, humans are growing culturally, and culture is nothing but collective experience and collective memory. So animals couldn't group. Animals individually powerful, but they couldn't group, whereas humans could create advanced civilizations through group effort and through linking past, present and future. So though an individual human being is not really superior to an individual animal. So that is the story he gives, because of which humans could domesticate, kill all rivals, and then finally sapiens became far more powerful than any other animals. Okay. Then look at the issue of what is morality? What is morality in the context of this? In the context of this history, I would define morality as ability for collective action. Ability for collective action. Ability for collective action requires willingness on the part of the participants, and acceptance of some justice. So like this. Individuals may be concerned about themselves as individuals, but when they come together, they have to evolve a particular code of conduct, and that's what morality is. Morality is a restraint on purely individual selfish action. So when there is a combination, then morality is increasing. So for example, an individual left to himself is somebody, but family. In family there is a restraint. If family is living, if members are living in a particular way, there is a code of what to do, what is right and what is wrong. And if families are getting connected into villages, then village has a code, and villages and becoming states, and states now international. So this is evolution of code. So I can say this is an evolution of morality. So what I would like to say is that as we become larger and larger groups, we can say morality improved, and because of which we became more progressive. Okay. Now the whole world has a moral code. United Nations, WHO, WTO. Okay. So when two nations fight, so many other nations pass judgments. Okay. So I'm just looking at it in a more fundamental way compared to other animals. I am not saying this is perfect, but I am saying compared to other life forms, sapiens show extraordinary amount of success. So sapient success is extraordinary, never happened like this in the history of any species on earth. We may have an idea of how things can be improved, but on the whole we should admit that sapiens is a hugely successful story. And so this is a success story, because take for example, we normally think that, say for example, nuclear weapons. So we talk about how nuclear weapons became a threat to mankind and why did man develop. There is no doubt, there is one way of looking at it. But we can also see that though man has nuclear weapons and he has the ability to destroy the world so many times, but he is not using them. He is not using them. And I would say this is morality. So, man got so many weapons, not using them, evolving a moral code. So, I would rate, not just I, but I think it is reasonable to assume that we are hugely moral and hugely progressive. Okay. So, this is the reason why we should accept the things that happened, or the things that were responsible for this progress. Okay. So, our essential design of nature. Okay. So, given this success story, now we have one serious issue. That serious issue is climate change. Climate change. What is about climate change? We have been successful so far, but then in a completely different direction, mankind is facing a threat from this. And most scientists came to the conclusion that we may be on very closer to extinction. Probably in thousands of years, or even hundreds of years. Okay, because there are likely to be some accidents or certain process by which temperature may simply shoot up above 3C or even 5C, and huge losses are going to happen to mankind. So why we are discussing this? We are discussing this because after having seen so much of success, we are facing a threat of extinction. But what is the cause of this threat? The cause is emissions. Okay, and why these emissions? Because of so much of in the output. So much of output is measured in GDP and many other variables. So basically, what are we now? We are much more in numbers, population huge, and living long, and then consuming so much, There may be inequalities within, but we are just looking at sapiens on the whole, huge in numbers, living long and consuming so much that finally the earth system is affected and the sapiens are facing the danger of extinction. So, in a way we can say our progress in terms of numbers, life and consumption brought us the threat of extinction. And I am saying, and this progress is due to morality. Morality defined in terms of the ability to live collectively. So, I think we exhausted whatever is possible. So, we should essentially take sapiens as a successful species, and so successful that its success is bringing it to its own end. This is how I see it, and I want you to reflect on it. And it may not be obvious why temperature rise 3 Celsius, 3 or 4 may lead to extinction. But here I want to explain. It is happening something like this. See, climate is changing. This is a Earth is actually for all these lakhs of years, it is in this glacial interglacial cycle. But Earth moved towards hot zone. Okay, so it came to be like this. And if the temperature keeps on increasing, the Earth will enter what is called hot house Earth. And the temperature is going to increase, and life on Earth would be simply not possible. So, few degree rise may ignite a system in which huge temperature rises are going to be possible, and life as we know is not going to be possible. But of course, some think that Earth system can be brought back towards colder region, towards this. But if you go by political and social systems, it doesn't seem to be appearing. Do you know, for example, during COVID time, economic growth declined. And people say that growth declined during COVID time, and when to recover. Okay, during COVID time, GDP declined, and when to recover. Okay, but in fact, to save the Earth, we need many times more intense COVIDs. Many intense COVID led COVID type decline is needed to save the Earth. But are we moving in the direction? No way. So, we are likely to face extinction. So, it means I take it as an exhausting the potential for numbers and consumption and collective life so much that our success has become a threat. So there couldn't have so our success became a threat. So I just want you to look at larger picture of success and progress, and how it finally got us into this particular kind of situation. So, how we could have traveled differently? Because if the purpose of compassion is only collective life and helping everybody, we actually helped and organized life in such a way that this was so successful. What was the alternative that one is talking about? So I want you to think. I want you to think that this is a success story rather than a failure story. And what are the philosophical implications to this? It is the success that is leading us to the extinction and not the failure. So what kind of social political organizations that would have created a better mankind? I want you to think about.